It's been a lovely day here on the Gold Coast in Australia, and I was just looking outside and the sun's still blazing and there's a breeze coming up from the ocean across the lake, so I had to close the doors a bit because it's very windy. But otherwise it's been a pleasant day, a busy day, but a very pleasant day. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to new viewers, and welcome to past viewers and current viewers who are following me. Thank you very much for your support. Now, I'm going to be talking about a little bit about what's happening in my life at the moment, and what I've been knitting and crocheting. It's not much crochet being done, but it's mainly been knitting, and what I have completed. I've completed quite a few things. They have actually become gifts to my new great niece called Harper Rose, and she is in South Australia. My nephew and his wife. She gave birth to her nearly 3 months ago. It's nearly that time, and oh my goodness, she's such a cute little girl. But I'm probably biased anyway, as all great aunties and grandmas and relatives are with their grandchildren and new grandbabies coming into the world. And yeah, so I've been making a few things, and they've already gone down. I've made, and I haven't even posted them on, or have I posted them on Instagram? I can't recall. But I've made the Baby's Throw Twinkle Twinkle blanket by Helen Stewart. I've made some little socks. I've made her a little octopus, and I have made her several hats to wear as well. But of course, she's growing so quickly, and the latest photograph I've got her, she's got these lovely little chubby legs, so she's doing very well. Health-wise. So without further ado, I'm just looking at what I've got to tell you about. I will start with completed WIPs that I've still got here that have not been gifted. So the first thing that I started was Isabel Kramer's Elias cardigan. I started this back in 2017, and it is a lovely cardigan to have knit. At the time she only went up to the extra large size, and I knitted this using I think in a minute, I'm just looking up my notes, the yarn from Joe Sharp, and it's alpaca kid luster. So it's a little bit of alpaca, a little bit of kid mohair, and I think there's a small amount of merino as well. And this colourway is called Poppy. Now, this is the very first time I've ever done a top-down garment, and I had, when I first started, I have obviously knitted a lot more jumpers and cardigans since then, and my techniques have improved as I've gone and done some more test knitting and learnt a lot of stuff from that, because I never knew what a make one left and make one right was. And so I have learned a lot since then. So I've pulled this out and finished it off because I had completed the whole body, but I hadn't done the collar and the button bands and the sleeves. Now you can see here where I've made an error here with shaping. I've got holes on this side which I need to stitch up, and none on this side here. Also too, you can see, if you look closely, where I make one left and make one right. It's like this one here, I had a hole here. So I've stitched that up. But this is a lovely cardigan to wear. And I do love the fact of this design. As you can see here, the cable that goes right down to the hem. And then you pick up and then you follow it right through to the cuff. And I do love that technique. And the other thing too is I like the little cable at the back, cable at the front, as well as the pocket. So the big other mistake I made just recently, because I just wanted to get it off the needles because moving to South Australia is colder, is I had made the neckband longer to the correct length, but I didn't make the buttonholes long enough. I didn't went up far enough, and I should have gone up at least another pattern repeat to make a deeper neckline. So when I have the cardigan on, it's got a rounder neckline on me, but that's fine. I'm positively that I'll have a shawl, and that's probably good because with my hot flushes it's good to be able to just undo it, pull it back and cool off, and then do it back up so I don't get cold again. So yes, I'm very pleased with this. I love this colour poppy. It shows a bit more orange on this screen, but it's actually more blood red, like a true deeper red. But the photographs hopefully will show the better colour if you go onto my Ravelry page, which is Bootsy1. You'll be able to see the notes there as well. So this yarn's lovely to work with. This blocked beautifully. This yarn, it has a little bit of halo coming through from it, but I truly love this. It was lovely to work with when I got into the sleeves, and I did my sleeves using the Addi Flexi needles, and that's where you've got 3 needles and 2, because I don't know, no matter how much I pull anything in the round, I still get the little ladder. So it's one of those things. And I've done it in the round on a circular needle, and I've done DPNs, and I've done the flexi pins. But I think I'm actually quite happy with the flexi pins, flexi needles by Addi. That's a crazy, or they're also known as a crazy Addi trio or something, or Addi crazy trio. So that's that cardigan. The other thing I have eventually completed, and I know I haven't posted this yet, is my Habitations Row by Helen Stewart. This pack I knitted with using Hannah from Circus Tonic Handmade. She's no longer dying because she's currently travelling around Australia with her kids and husband in a caravan. And this was Advent 2018, I think. No, 2019. And I made a mistake. I had turned here at row colour 13. I should have started at colour 11 or 12 to start the term, because I had to add on from here to here in another colour, and this colour is the sand colour from Peyton's yarns, sock yarn, Peyton or sock yarn 4-ply, which is 75 merino, 25 nylon. But it is a lovely yarn to work with, and I finished off skein. I had started knitting off some socks for my niece Harper. But I love the I-cord bind off as you go. And there's my little label, Carolyn Boots Handmade, for my stuff. If I'm doing anything for the shop, I've got to knit and crochet. And these are vegan friendly little labels. They're machine washable from Limifica up in the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. So, but I love this pattern. I'll tell you what, by the time I got to the end of it, I was over the joining and thinking, am I there yet? Am I there yet? Am I there yet? Especially when you're down to this sort of colour and you're getting to this one, and you get to that one, and you think, oh, truth, I've still got that bit more to do. But it's a lovely size blanket for me, and I love it to bits. And it sits here in my studio on the back of my chair. And I just love the colourways and how it's turned out. It's nice and light. So that's going to last for a very long time. There's a big hole there. Did I drop a stitch there? Oh dear. Looks like I just caught a stitch. I'm going to have to put a little marker in that. Stitch saved. Luckily I saw that big hole. Otherwise it would run all the way through. Okay. So those are the 2 finished objects that I've got that I've been able to cross off my list of things I'm in the process of making. Things on my needles. Well, I still got too many things on my needles, but I still keep on picking things up to do. I've got a trunk behind me that's just over there, you can't see, and that's full of WIPs and things I want to do, but we will not worry about those at this stage, because I think I mentioned the last time of how many WIPs I had on the go. So what I want to show you is a test knit I'm currently working on. This is by Jessica Gore of the Sweater Collective. And she's knitted this in 2 samples, one in a worsted weight and one in a 4-ply yarn, which is your fingering. I keep forgetting to say fingering for anybody overseas. And the colourway I have chosen for this is from Jinx Yarns, and I was very lucky to get the last 2 skeins out of her shop because there was nothing else in her shop when she closed up. And the colorway is called where is it? Pure Illusion, and it's a singles merino, and it's a gorgeous yarn, and it's got pinks and blues and purples and all those sorts of things that, you know, that I just loved. It's saying to me, and it's saying its way all the way over to Australia, and I've had it in my stash for a couple of years now, and I've left it in mid pattern row, which I don't normally like doing. But just that you know, the yellow yarn, that's my security line. But there we go. That's how it's knitted up. Bring that over so you can see the little bee. So I've nearly finished this. I'm almost finished this part of the pattern, and I go on to doing the chevron. But it's gorgeous. I just love the colours. So this is my current test knit. So as I say, the yellow yarn here is my security line. So if I need to drop back, I can drop back to there. So that's the current WIP I'm working on at the moment. That's taking up most of my time. And the next one I have, it's in, oh, I should have mentioned, this is housed in my box it bag I've crocheted. This is using the Noro Curion yarn and some pink wool I had, and this is the box it bag by Cow Patch, and I've eventually got around to felting them in the washing machine on a hot water cycle, and it's so much better than what I had before. It was all loose and floppy, and so yeah, I just love these bags, so I'm going to have to make some more. Housed in this yellow bag by the Bay Yarn Company, which is a heavy canvas bag, and gifted to me as a Christmas swap from Helen, I think it's Helen in America. I'm knitting Rodney up his cardigan, and there's a lovely mushroom colour by Dreamtime. It's Baby Dreamtime Merino 8-ply. It's a 8-ply yarn, which is a DK weight, and I'm using the recommend needles. I've got gauge, and I'm nearly finished the back. I'm basically about to cast off on the back. So that's the back of the cardigan. So that's nearly at that position. And I've decided that I'm going to block each piece as I go. So it's not going to be a big chore because it's done in pieces. It's a Peyton's, it's a Cleckheaton pattern. And this is the pattern here. And enjoy Rodney's body double. And so it's a great cardigan. It's a longer line cardigan, so it'll keep his back warm because it does get cold in South Australia. So this is what I'm knitting for him. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm not a big fan of twisted rib. Don't really like it. Maybe because I've got to sit there and think about it as I'm knitting along. Whereas if normal knit 1 purl 1 or knit 2 purl 2, I can just chuff through it. Okay, the next thing I can show I cast on, I got a little bit further on, is my Arnie and Carlos socks that I cast these on when I was flying to and back to from Adelaide. When we went down to see about property there, because that's where Rod and I will be moving, which is what I'll be leading into my next verbal. So that's the Arnie and Carlos Regia yarn. I've never had any of this before, and this was also gifted to me by another lady through Wool Swap, I think, and I just love the colourway. And these are going to be Rod's Christmas socks, because I probably won't get them finished until Christmas. And once again, I'm using the Addy Flexi Flips or Addy Crazy Trio. And that's where I'm up to on this first pair. I started off with a 2x2 rib. And I used Titty Buddy's stretchy cast on. Thank you, You, for your help in suggesting that. I use it all the time for that nice stretchy rib. So yes, that's the first sock. So the net's living in this little bag I've made. This is some craft fabric and lined in calico with some drip cords. It's just a perfect size to carry a pair of socks in, and I can shove that into my handbag or my backpack and it doesn't get in the way. Now the next thing I want to show you was, I've meant to have started this on for the Helen Stewart mystery shawl. Never got to it. I did so this is the one that she just said there's a stillness shawl. And I am up to where, okay, to there. So I'll find a photograph of a stillness shawl. There we go. And I was using originally a blue into the colourway, and it just stood out too bold. It looked great with the 3 skeins together. And I did the photograph, to get the contrast and that sort of thing. No, I just did not like it. So in the end, I'll keep that for another project. So what I'm using here is Miss Click Hack, and her colour way is, this is on her. It's called Bougainvillea, and this is on Nightman's Highway Superwash Merino, and this is a sport weight, but it's got, bring that up close, you can see it's got some purples in there as well as a pink. The next colourway is from Fibre Lily, and it's got those pinks and blues, and this is why I thought the blue would look really great in it, but when you look closer, the blue, that blue just stood out too hard and too harsh. So I wanted to make it a little bit more softer and tone. So this is the Swiss sock in Hush, and I think she's based down in Melbourne. And the third colourway is this Peyton sock merino. It's colour sand I had before that I used for my rug, and I'm bringing it into this colourway as well. and this is knitted on my Symphony 4mm. I've got gauge with these, and there we go. So this is going to be picking up as like with Helen's, with the bold, with the red, and then you've got the subtle colour of coming in with the washes, with the blue and the sand. I had actually got a lot further with this, but when I undid all this colourway to here, picked up the stitches again and started again, and from that section onwards. So I haven't got a safety line in there, but I will put one in there. So this is taking the back step for the moment. That's knit along finished some time ago, and I will continue that further on. I meant to say, this is also knitted, crocheted boxet bag using the Nara Curion colourway, and lots of scrap over yarn that I had in my scrap box. Also felted, and I just, as I said once again, each bag, even though it starts off the same size, as they're felted, they, depending on how either my gauge or the other yarn I used, which is also 100% wool, but some of them is like from Country Naturals, and some are Cleckheaton, and a variety of just shop bought yarns that I've had in my stash. And so they've all shrunk at a different rate, or felted at a different rate. The next one, also living into my third boxet bag, which is also a mixture of the Nara Curion yarns and my yarn I had in my stash. It's really a great stash buster bag pattern by Cow Patch. If you can get it, it's excellent. I mean, this side here is a little bit finer because I didn't have enough Nara Curion, so I used up other yarns. But if you can see how this is folded with the Nara Curion on this side, it's really heavy felting. Now, I've gone ahead and joined in Hoagie Locatelli's Fall Cow, and I only did choose one object, and it's the Odyssey Shawl by Hoagie. Just that there. Still a free pattern. I haven't cast it on yet. I've got this far with the needles, and the three colorways I'm doing, you'll see here. These two greys are what like a koala range. From memory, I think I've won these. Or did I buy them? I'm not sure. But it's come from Dingo Dye Works, and she's not dyeing at this stage. She hasn't dyed for some time since she's moved house. This colour is called Joey, and this one's colour is called Pinky. And these are on her Fair Dinkum DK base, using sustainable 100% ultrafine merino, and there's 225 meters in each of these. So, and that non-treated. And the third colourway which I'm bringing in, because I'm going to start with the grey, I'm going to reverse it, I'm going to go pale grey by my face, because I've gone blonder, then the dark grey, and then I'm going to finish up with some yarn I dyed using Bendigo Woolen Mills 100% wool, and this is my Westlakes on a Cloudy Day, and it's also an 8-ply or DK. So that's what I'm going to do. I wanted to finish with this colourway as my third colourway. I'm not even do the reverse, do the dark by my face and the pale. I haven't decided yet, but I need to cast this on, and I hopefully to start this weekend. And because I'm hoping to get a lot more knitting done on my test knit. So I've got another week. And I know she's extended the time, but I want to finish it by the original time so I can get on with this. My final fourth item I want to show you today is living in my fourth and final boxet bag. Also using Nara Curion and using most of the blue yarns I had in my stash. Is the Autumn by Hoagie. And what I've decided to do, and I've got gauge-ish, and I reckon if I block this out this way, I'll get the stitch count this way. I've got the row count, okay, but I need to block it out this way to make it a bit tighter or looser. And this lovely yarn is by a lovely lady called Corolla from Otherworldly Yarns in England. And I met Corolla through IVKN, which is the International Virtual Knit Nights. And as I say, I've got gauge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to not use a mohair, but I'm going to use this 2-ply alpaca lace, royal alpaca lace. Now, unfortunately, Patents didn't, Australian Country Yarns, or Australia Yarn Company, I should call them now, didn't repeat this range this winter. It is so soft and really squishy, and I just love this colourway, teal. So I think this will look really great with that. So I've got the vibrant stripes of the 4-ply. And this is my next lightweight cardigan I want to cast on, so it takes me into summer. And these were 50-gram balls and 300 meters on them. So yeah, so this is my next lightweight garment for myself. And I was going through my button tin looking for buttons for my Elias, and depending on how it finishes looking, I've got 2 button sizes here. So I've got enough of each, and I used to have a fabric shop back in Adelaide years ago, and this is the larger of the 2, and depending on how it looks, I might do something like that, and it's actually turquoise in that button, or a smaller one. It's probably going to be the smaller one. I'll bring the buttons up closer so you can see it. Got it blurring out. Yeah, so it's amazing what you find in your button tin you've had for ages. So they're just some of the things that we had from the shop that I put in there, and I found some other buttons I really love as well. See that? Take it back. It won't be for this. I guess hopefully not. I'll probably keep this for something else. I have a Cherry Myrtle Timely I like to make, or a Katie or something like that. Don't know if that works that way. There we go. So that's pretty well it for what I'm actually kept out of the trunk. So that's what's keeping me busy at the moment in my crafting. The sewing machine's away until we sold the house. And for those of you, it's probably going to be a little bit of a shock, but yes, we've got a house up for sale. It's on the market, and we have got a house down in Adelaide that we'll be settling on soon, actually at McCracken, which is at Victor Harbour, which is about 85k out of Adelaide, so down south of Adelaide, and we will be moving there, and behind me I'll be re-establishing my shop. But that's basically all the yarn I've got left in my shop at the moment. I will start re-dyeing again, and I'll put my hand-dyed yarns back into the shop. We'll make some bags, and I will going to be making some Christmas stockings, and I've got some gorgeous trims. So that was my alarm, 4 o'clock alarm. And so that way we will be able to re-establish everything back there again. I'll start up my knitting group again back there. My ladies, which have now just dwindled down to about 3 or 4 ladies who come along to knit and crochet on Saturday afternoons. We'll continue on doing knitting and crocheting as a small group, because they've become good friends as well. And you develop a little community, so I hope to be able to create a new community down at Victor Harbour for myself, and to re-establish my shop, continue on selling yarns through it, and to not only do my own hand-dyed yarns, but I also sell mainly something a little bit unusual coming through from New Zealand yarns, and also from Australian Yarn Company, which has the patterns click-keyed. And so these yarns that I'm getting through from these shops are basically more affordable yarns. I will get some Malabrigo, because I do have 3 wholesale. No, I've actually got 4 wholesalers that I can get yarns from. And I might even get some Karen cakes and that sort of thing. And depending on how my sales go, everything will be still on Etsy at the moment. I've transferred everything over to there. And once I've re-established myself, if there's anything you see on my website, on my blog account that you like, just let me know. I could be found at To Knit and Crochet on Blogger. My website's been redirected to there, which is toknitandcrochet.com.au at this stage, and I run a little blog on there which needs some love again, and you'll find my show notes there of the patterns I'm working on. And that's pretty well about it to bring up to date. Health-wise, I have now been just over a year without breast cancer. I had a lumpectomy done last July, and I've been to see the breast surgeon, I've been to see the oncologist, and everything's good. So I'm free of breast cancer. Fingers crossed. The other thing is that I am also a Crohn's sufferer. I have Crohn's, which is a chronic illness as well. And I am now on a 8-week, or every 2 months, I go in for a infusion called Entyvio. And all my blood tests and everything come back showing positive results, that I'm positively healthy here in that regard, that the drug is working well. My infection rate is down to -1. My liver bloods, all the other bloods have come back reading excellent, so I'm very happy with that. And that's pretty well about it, other than the birth of my great niece Harper, Rose. The other reason why we're moving down to Adelaide is so that we can be closer to family and to be with them. My mother is 80 now, and I'd like to see a little bit more of her. And she is the only living parent left of both Rod and I. I like to be seeing my nephews a little bit more often, and my sister a little bit more often as well. And Rod gets a chance to see his son Adam. He lives in independent living in Adelaide, and he will be able to get to see him every couple of weeks or every weekend or something like that. We will try and bring that in, because we are both getting older, and it's time to recenter back into the family life again. We will miss our Queensland friends, but we will Zoom, we will see them, we'll travel up here for holidays and catch up with everyone. We'll probably end up seeing more of Queensland than what we have done from living here for the last 14 years. So we'll be looking forward to all those future journeys and future travels to see our friends. And one final note is that we got contacted by Australian Homestay Network, and we're now currently hosting probably our last student to host from Chile. And she's a lovely young lady, and so she'll be with us for the next 3 or 4 weeks. And I get to host a sister's dog puppy. And I should bring in the final part of the news is Petey is doing very well. And he is learning he has actually learnt from us how to press traffic light buttons to cross the road, and they're teaching him to centre on that a little bit more, and he just walks up there and just automatically pushes them. And he's picking things up really well, because I taught him how to pick up his Kong, and I used to point and pick that up, and he'd pick it up and bring it to me and give him a treat, to say give. And yeah, so I've been missing my little big buffy, because he was about 34, 35 kilogram, and he was a big dog. He was a golden retriever and Labrador cross. And I'll be hosting his half sister, because same dad, different mum, and her name is Doris, and so she'll be here this Saturday to next Wednesday, while her puppy educator is getting some home renovations done. So I'm going to get some puppy love, which I'm looking forward to immensely. And so that's all the good news to tell you guys at the moment. Thank you for listening to me and joining in. A little bit rusty. It's been a while since I've been last on doing a podcast. Life's been pretty busy during COVID because of, I should also say, one of the reasons why I haven't gone on to here, because most of the time I've been spent looking for houses in South Australia, house designs in South Australia, for a block of land we've bought, and trying to set up to sell this house. So it's been like 3 or 4 crazy, well, probably since July, or maybe June, July, August, crazy months. I got out of my moon boot, walking around normally, but still have problems with knees and things. But let's forget about all that. Let's move on to the future, and hopefully I'll be able to post again in the very near future once I've finished another project. So keep your fingers crossed, it might be in about 2 weeks' time. Thanks guys for joining us, and I'm hopefully get my act together and do some videos of Vapidi, so you can see him in a little bit more length, and some photos of my house and around the area. Take care, and may your God be with you, and enjoy whatever you craft you're crafting at this stage. Cheers for now, Carolyn.